You feel that, don't you? That itch behind your eyes, like something's off. Something in the air is twisting, warping, pulling everything you thought was stable into something unrecognizable. They won't say it out loud, but everyone's nervous, smiling with their teeth, trembling with their hands, because deep down they know something big is coming. And it won't knock politely. It'll tear the hinges off and invite itself in. You were never meant to fit into their version of normal. That word, normal, it's a costume, stitched together with expectations, stitched tight so you can't breathe, stitched by hands that tremble at anything different. You ever notice how hard they try to keep everything neat, predictable? They smile wide, say the right things, walk in straight lines like good little soldiers marching toward what? Approval, acceptance, a gold star from a system that eats the souls of the ones who dare to ask why. You weren't designed for that. You weren't made to blend into a world built on lies and repetition. See? The minute you started asking questions, the real ones, they looked at you differently. Oh, they didn't say it. No, but their eyes gave it away. Eyes always do. You made them uncomfortable, not because you were wrong, but because you were right, and they couldn't stand it. Couldn't handle the mirror you became just by existing, by not complying. They want the quiet ones, the obedient ones, the ones who nod along and pretend they're not dying inside from the weight of pretending. But you? No, you were never meant to live in that coffin they call comfort. They gave you a script, didn't they? From the moment you could speak, they fed you lines like medicine. Be polite. Follow the rules. Keep your head down. Don't speak unless spoken to. And when you tried to scream, they told you to whisper. When you tried to run, they called it rebellion, but it was survival. They saw your fire and tried to smother it with conformity. They tried to box your chaos into something they could explain. Because anything that can't be explained becomes a threat. And you've always been a threat, haven't you? So you sat in rooms full of liars, pretending you didn't see through the glass walls they called institutions, school, work, tradition. Places where creativity goes to die. Places where they reward you for being just like everyone else. But deep down, under the skin behind the smile, you were different, and it scared them. Because your very presence questions the system. And systems don't like question. They like control. But you were never built to be controlled. You were built to crack the ceiling open and laugh while the dust falls like rain. It's not that you're broken. It's that you were born awake in a world that sleeps with its eyes open. You've seen too much to pretend. Heard too much to ignore, felt too much to sit still. They say you're too intense, too emotional, too much. Funny how the truth always feels like too much to people who've made peace with the lie. You ever notice that? How they flinch when you tell them the truth, how they twist it, water it down, package it in something sweet because the raw version burns their tongue. But you swallow fire like it's oxygen. And maybe you tried to fit in for a while. Maybe you wore the mask, smiled at the right times, clapped when they told you to clap. Maybe you tried to shrink yourself, hoping they'd accept you. But shrinking didn't make the noise go away, did it? It made it louder. The more you tried to disappear, the more the real you screamed to be seen. Because the truth is, you were never meant to be small. You were never meant to dim your light just to make others comfortable in the dark. You were meant to be the discomfort, the glitch, the spark that sets the machine on fire. They fear what they don't understand, and they don't understand you. That's not your problem. That's your power. You're the crack in their perfect world, the storm in their still water, the voice they can't silence, no matter how loud they turn up the noise around you. Because deep down, they know. They know you see through it, and that terrifies them more than anything. Because if you can break free, maybe others will too. Maybe you're not the only one who's tired of pretending. Maybe the revolution doesn't start with a bang. It starts with a whisper from someone who refused to be normal. You ever feel like you were handed a puzzle, but half the pieces were missing and the picture on the box didn't match what they gave you? That's what life feels like when you're awake in a world built on sleep. People walk past you every day with empty smiles and hollow eyes, pretending they've got it all figured out, but inside they're screaming for something real. And you, well, you see it. You always did. You weren't blindfolded like the rest. You were cursed, or maybe gifted, with sight. They told you life was a straight road. Go to school, get the job, marry the partner, buy the house, have the kids, retire, die. Simple, clean, predictable, but what happens when the road ends and there's just fog? What happens when you realize that path was never meant for someone like you? That your steps were never designed to echo in perfect rhythm with theirs? That you were always meant to step off the path entirely and carve your own trail through the dark? There's something different in you. Not better, just raw. The kind of raw that makes people uncomfortable. The kind of raw that breaks the polite silence in the room and makes everyone glance at each other like they're looking for an exit. And that's because you remind them of everything they buried. The dreams they abandoned, the truths they silenced, the wildness they locked away in favor of fitting in. You never really fit, did you? You tried, maybe. Tried to clip your wings and walk like them. Tried to blade discipline that you would not die, bore and beggar, by, beggar, by, 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 by. They call it rebellion. They say you're difficult, dramatic, intense. But what they really mean is you don't bow. You don't play the game. You don't sell your soul for comfort or status or applause. You'd rather walk alone in the dark than sit in a room full of people who don't know how to feel anymore. You'd rather bleed honesty than live with the mask glued to your face. That makes you dangerous. That makes you powerful. See, most people spend their whole lives trying to be liked, trying to be safe, trying to avoid making waves, but not you. You were born with thunder in your throat and a storm in your chest. You speak and the walls tremble. Not because you're yelling, but because you mean every word. And meaning scares them. Truth burns them. Your existence is a protest, a mirror, a crack in the illusion they've clung to for too long. And they won't admit it, of course. They'll tell you to calm down, to quiet your voice, to stop thinking so much, feeling so much, questioning so much. But it's not about calming you. It's about controlling you, keeping you numb, distracted, obedient. Because if you ever fully realized who you are, what you're capable of, how deeply you're connected to something far beyond this artificial world, you'd tear it all down. And they know it. That's why they fear you. You've got scars, yes. You've been broken. You've been lied to, betrayed, laughed at, underestimated. But every wound carved a lesson into your skin. Every crack made you see more clearly. You didn't crumble, you evolved. You didn't stay down, you became something unshakable. The kind of person who walks into a room and shifts the energy without saying a word. The kind of soul that haunts the minds of those who tried to bury you. Because they know you're still standing, still watching, still becoming. They wanted you to forget your strength, to forget the power in your voice, in your story, in your pain, but you didn't. You held on to it, and now it's pulsing through your veins like fire. You're not here to blend in, you're here to disrupt, to awaken, to remind people of what they've lost. And maybe that makes you the villain in their story. Maybe that's the price of truth in a world built on lies. But tell me, would you rather be their hero or your own? They think silence means peace, that if no one's screaming, nothing's wrong. But silence can be a scream too, a thick, heavy one, just quieter. Like a ticking bomb beneath a church choir. And you've been hearing it for a while now, haven't you? That subtle, aching noise inside your skull, gnawing at your sense of reality, whispering that something is wrong, even when everyone's pretending everything is just fine. You're not crazy for noticing. You're not broken for feeling it. You're awake. You ever notice how the ones who ask the right questions suddenly get labeled a problem? How those who refuse to smile when they're bleeding are told they're too negative? It's easier to medicate you than to understand you. Easier to shame you than to admit something's off with the system, not you. That's the trick. Make you believe your fire is a flaw. Make you doubt the parts of yourself that were never meant to be tame. They teach you how to live, but only if you follow their script. Sit still, speak soft, smile often, don't rattle cages, don't feel too much, don't dream too loud. They'll clap for you as long as you stay predictable. But the second you deviate, the second you refuse to be the role they cast for you, they panic. Because your refusal to conform exposes their own chains. Your voice is a spotlight, and they've been hiding in the dark. Do you know what it feels like to wake up one day and realize everything you've been taught was a distraction? That the world built around you was designed to keep you chasing illusions, money, fame, approval, fake love, while your soul starved quietly in the back corner? It's a brutal kind of awakening, like ripping off a mask you didn't know you were wearing. The air tastes different, everything looks twisted, and now you can't unsee it. That's the curse of awareness, and the gift. People don't want truth. They want comfort. They want predictability. That's why they'll scroll past realness and click on something shiny. That's why they'll praise the polite liar and crucify the loud truth teller. 'Cause the truth demands change. And change, that's scary. But you're past scared. You've danced with pain long enough to stop fearing it. You've stared into the abyss and found a mirror instead of a monster. Now you carry that abyss inside you, and it makes your eyes different. That's why they look at you and look away. You see too much. Do you ever wonder why you feel so tired in rooms full of people? Why small talk tastes like ash in your mouth? Because your spirit's starving for depth. You crave something real in a world addicted to artificial. They want you to laugh at things that aren't funny, celebrate victories that feel empty, worship idols made of plastic and debt. And when you don't play along, they call you broken. But you're not broken. You're allergic to the fake. That's your power. Let them say you're too intense. Let them call you complicated. You weren't made for surface level. You were made for the undercurrents, for the shadows, for the truths no one wants to touch. You were made to burn, quietly at first, then louder until the smoke fills every room you walk into. And when they ask what that smell is, you smile. Because it's the smell of their illusions burning to ash. It's the scent of your becoming. You've lost people. Of course you have. People don't always survive the truth you carry. They cling to comfort like it's oxygen, and when you offer them fire, they gasp and run. But not all of them. Somewhere out there, someone's waiting for the version of you that doesn't hide, that speaks in storms, that bleeds gold when cut. But you won't meet them if you keep pretending you're small. You weren't meant to shrink. You weren't meant to dim. The world will try to convince you you're too much, too weird, too sensitive, too wild, but those are just words used to cage the kind of soul that scares them. Because you can't be bought. You can't be silenced. You can't be programmed. You remember who you were before they told you what to be. And that memory, that's your weapon. That's your curse. That's your freedom. They talk about destiny like it's a fairy tale, like it arrives dressed in gold, soft and sweet, with everything falling into place like puzzle pieces. What they don't say is that real destiny feels more like a detour through a war zone. Blood in your teeth, dirt under your nails, and voices in your head asking why you're still standing when everything around you wants you to fall. But you've seen too much to believe in smooth road. You know, the cracks in the pavement are where the truth leaks out. I'd give you a map once, said, follow this, it's safe here. The route was lined with mediocrity, padded with approval. All you had to do was walk quietly and not ask questions. Don't look left. Don't step off the path. Keep smiling even if your insides are on fire. But you, being who you are, you tore the map in half. You didn't want their safe. You wanted real, and real doesn't come with a guarantee. Real bites, real burns, real demands. You've been walking through this fog for a while now. It's thick, cold, lonely, but somewhere along the way you stopped waiting for someone to rescue you. You stopped asking for directions. You started carving your own path. with broken bones and bruised fists, laughing when it hurt because pain meant you were still in the fight. And that fight, that was never about proving something to the world. It was about proving something to yourself, that you wouldn't break the way they thought you would. Do you remember when you used to explain yourself to everyone? Try to shrink down your fire so it wouldn't scare them off? That version of you is gone. You buried them, and not gently. You lit the match, watched the ashes scatter, and kept walking. Now your words are heavier, your silence louder. People feel it when you enter a room. They don't know what it is, but something about you doesn't beg to be understood anymore. You carry storms in your eyes and secrets in your grin. The truth is, people like you were never meant to be understood by the crowd. You're built different, wired for chaos, sharpened by betrayal, baptized in silence. You don't need applause. You don't need followers. You need space. Space to think, to build, to destroy what isn't real. The world calls that isolation. You call it evolution. Because solitude doesn't scare you. And while they're out there chasing validation like moths, chasing light, you're out here creating your own electricity. You know what the real shift is? It's not in the stars or the calendar or the tides. It's in you. That moment when the old you tries to crawl back into your skin and you say no. That moment when you realize you're not waiting anymore for them to change, for life to get easier, for the pain to make sense. That moment you stop rehearsing your pain and start rewriting your story. You stop surviving and start scheming, not for revenge, no, for rebirth. They'll try to drag you back, not because they hate you, no, because your transformation exposes their stagnation. Your evolution reminds them of everything they refuse to face. So they'll mock you, gaslight you, call you lost while they drown in comfort. But you're not lost. You're just not found by the wrong things anymore. Not found by lies, not found by the need to be chosen. You've chosen yourself. And that choice, that's the real rebellion. That's what they fear. There's a version of you waiting on the other side of fear. The version that laughs in the face of pressure, that doesn't flinch when the world tries to push you down, that doesn't ask for permission. You can feel it, can't you? That version is already inside you, pacing in the dark, itching to be let out. Not with a whisper, but with a bang. And the second you stop pretending to be who they want you to be, that version will explode through the seams and nothing will ever be the same again. They told you to be patient. They told you good things come to those who wait. But what they didn't say, what they never say, is that patience can rot, that waiting can become a prison dressed up as virtue. See, while you were sitting still, trying to be good, trying to be humble, the vultures circled, the liars climbed, and the ones who wore masks got to the front of the line because they were willing to play dirty while you were trying to play fair. Cute, isn't it? The way the world rewards wolves and calls it leadership. You were marked, not with ink or blood, but with awareness. A mind too sharp to stay silent and a soul too stubborn to fold. You saw too much, too soon. While others were busy laughing at the circus, you were staring straight at the puppeteers behind the curtain, and once you see that, you can't unsee it. It infects you. changes the way you breathe, the way you trust, the way you walk into rooms. You stop expecting kindness. You stop begging for truth. You start building escape routes in your head, just in case the walls start whispering. People don't like that version of you, the one that doesn't flinch, the one that questions everything, the one that laughs when things burn because deep down you always knew it was going to burn. They call you cold, distant, strange, but that's only because you stopped giving them what they wanted. Your obedience, your silence, your need for approval. That's the thing about awakening. It doesn't make you polite, it makes you dangerous. And that danger, that's the part they never saw coming. You've noticed it, haven't you? The shift, the way you're being pulled away from things that used to keep you numb, the way your own thoughts have started to sound like warnings. You try to sit still, but the restlessness crawls under your skin like static. You try to go back to sleep, but your dreams are screaming. Every time you look around, something feels off, forced, false. And it's not paranoia, easiest perception. You're not losing your mind. You're shedding a layer of it. Every crack in your past is starting to glow now. Every betrayal, every silence, every night you thought would swallow you whole. It's not pain anymore. It's proof that you've been tempered, sharpened, tested by things that were meant to break you. And still you're here. Maybe quieter, maybe colder, but here. Not because you got lucky, but because the fire that built you is older than the fear that tried to destroy you. You're not just someone who survived. You're someone who sees. And sight like that, it's not a gift. It's a curse with benefits. You start seeing people for what they are, not what they show. You hear the lies under the compliments. You feel the trap in the offer. You smile at the storm because you've been struck before, and instead of dying, you absorbed it. That's the shift. That's the power they pretend doesn't exist. The kind of strength that makes the chaos nervous. But it's not just about seeing anymore. It's about moving. The clock's been ticking loud and fast, and you've been holding your breath like someone might save you. No one's coming, not the ones you waited for, not the ones you prayed would understand, not the ones who swore they'd never leave. It's you now, all you, which is terrifying and beautiful in the same breath. 'Cause you were made for this, not the soft version of you. The raw one, the one they tried to smother with expectations and titles and fear. You can feel it, can't you? The shift in your bones, the way your soul is itching, clawing, snarling to be free. The polite version of you is fading, and something primal is waking up. Something real, something they don't have a label for. And when it moves, when it rises, it won't ask for permission, it won't seek permission. It won't even speak the same language as the world that tried to bury it. We'll just burn through every fake thing in its path and smile while doing it.